Hey, hey, don't hurt me. They call me Mr. Richard. I talk about money and I talk about all this stuff. Let's get started. Welcome in Facebook, welcome in YouTube, welcome in the Twitter, the TikTok, the Instagram. And I guess the question of the day or the question of the hour is that someone said, is school a scam? Because school don't teach you anything about money. And poor people become more poor because we just take out more loans. And I said, well, not necessarily. Rich people take out loans too. Rich people just take out loans to buy stuff that makes them money. Poor people take out loans to buy stuff, but they buy the wrong stuff. They buy clothes and junk with their money, with their debt. They go further into debt to um, buy stuff that don't make them any money. But um, I'm gonna harp on this a little bit, and I'm gonna break down all these social classes, and I want you to be honest with. Don't be honest with me. I don't care, but I want you to be honest with yourself. And if you want to comment, which one are you? You can put in the comments. But I promise you, the majority of people that's going to be on this that listen to this are either going to be in the poor class or between the poor class and the middle class. When I break these down according to how not Google or society or all this other kind of crap breaks it down, I'll break down how rich people look at social classes. And a lot of people don't want to hear how they fall into it. I'm going to keep it super simple and I'm going to keep it super short and I'm going to get straight to the point. And it's kind of going to blow your logic on the ideal of what class you in and how you are doing things wrong. Anybody who knows me, I'm I went to a pretty extensive public speaking school curriculum to teach me how to public speak. How you doing? And we had to give a subject to talk about for an hour. Oh no, I think it was a 30-minute speech, and I talked about this subject, but I can talk all day about it. And the more I kind of did the research on it, the more I was like, damn, this is pretty accurate. But hope you found value in this. And if you're following or liking, please make sure you tap the screen. Make sure you're following. If you're coming in from TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, if you want to click the link in the bio, watch this from YouTube. You don't even have to follow or subscribe from YouTube. Just watch it from there because it helps me because it pays you to be here for me, right? If you get any value in this stuff and you find value and you're learning and you're growing mentally, just watch from YouTube. Okay? Please. Click the link in the bio or search The Rich Get Richard YouTube and it'll probably take you to my page. It should take you to the page. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple seconds to get in there. Welcome in everybody. Tap the screen, tap the screen, tap the screen, TikTok. Make sure you're following Instagram. I see you. YouTube, I see y'all. Uh, talking about taking loans out for assets. Yeah, I see it. All right, so let's break down social classes as a rich or better off person sees them. And you can tell me if you are considered a poor person. Well, let's do this first. Do you consider yourself poor, between, poor, middle class? Do you consider yourself middle class? Do you consider yourself upper middle class? Do you consider yourself rich? Or do you consider yourself wealthy? Right? Just by show of comments. If you want to comment what you think or what you feel you are, you know, I'm going to break it down for you. And it's really nothing to do with the amount of money you bring in. Okay, I just want you to know that. So a lot of people think that the suburbs and a decent job and 401k is middle class or some shit like that. A lot of it has nothing to do with that. Okay? Nothing. But it's about your spending and your spending habits that makes you the social class that you are. Okay? Let's break them down. Poor people generally don't have the accessibility to acquire higher levels of education. They're generally not as educated. They don't go to college. Sometimes they go to high school, sometimes they finish, but generally they won't, right? Then, if they're not college educated or didn't even finish high school, the type of education that they have, the type of job that they have is going to reflect that. Okay? So if you have a person that didn't graduate high school or a person that barely graduated high school, more than likely they have a shorter attention span. They have horrible work ethic. They can't sit still or they can't focus for more than a few minutes. So those type of jobs or those type of skills that need to make a decent amount of money, they're not going to get. Right. And when I talk about certain jobs and certain skill set, I'm not trying to offend anybody. Right. I've done all of them. Right. But I'm just keeping it real. Okay. I'm just telling you how it is. When you are lower educated or just high school educated, the type of job that you're going to get are going to be of a labor intense type of jobs, right? You might be stocking shelves at a grocery store. You might be, a cashier. You might be at a fast food restaurant. You might be unloading and loading trucks. You might be at somebody at a Dollar General or something, or a Dollar Tree or a Family Dollar or something like that. No offense to those jobs. Those are, hard ass jobs. I get it, right? But those jobs don't pay a lot of money. So when you don't make a lot of money, you don't qualify for loans, right? If you might can go out and get a secure line of credit or $100, $500 credit card. You might put some bull crap on it, but lower class people, they don't try to care. They don't really care about that, right? The vehicle they got, they don't make enough to qualify for a vehicle. So they don't know nothing about credit. So they're going to go buy a little hoopty for cash, probably with their tax return or something, or some of the money they saved up. So their car is paid off. They typically have a little hoopty and they drive it till the wheels fall off, an old pickup truck or something like that. The job they got is pretty much going to support their lifestyle. You're bringing in $500 a week, which is 10, 15 bucks an hour, times 40, that's 500 bucks. Damn near before taxes. You're not going to get a damn near Mac Daddy apartment, so you're probably going to be living in a subpar neighborhood. You're probably going to be living in a trailer home or something like that, or a mobile home, or in the projects or something like that on Section 8. There's not enough money to make everything meet, so you're probably going to get some type of government assistance. Section 8, you might get food stamps, you might get WIC, which ain't bad, but you might be on one of those programs. You don't go out there and you're not going to buy a house. You can't afford it. You're not going to get credit cards. You can't, no one's going to qualify you. And you don't have a lot of savings because there's not enough to go around. You're barely making ends meet just to maintain your lifestyle. And heaven forbid the old pickup truck or your car that you bought for cash breaks down, you're in a pickle, right? So generally, that's the lifestyle of a poor person. They have a mediocre job or subpar job, doesn't pay them much, 10, 12, 15, $18 an hour, maybe. They live in probably a mobile home or a trailer home or a Section 8 home or something like that. They got probably some government assistance and they live in check to check. They don't have a lot of savings. They don't have any investment. Check their credit. They don't even damn know what that shit is. Check my credit. I have no clue. Right? I meet people all the time. Yeah, man, what's your credit score? I don't even know what that is. Right? Boop. I already know what tier of a person you are as soon as you say that. Because they're not told or educated. Their parents probably broke up. They don't have no support system from them. They probably got kicked out at 13, 14, 15 years old, and they had to fend for themselves their whole life, you know? But it is what it is. But I tell you what, poor people who fall into that demographic, to me, are better off than most middle class people. Okay? So let's get into the middle class demographic. Don't shoot the messenger. This is just what I've been taught or I learned over years. Middle class people are almost at the bottom of the food chain when it comes to money and finances. You know? So this is your mindset. You're a little smarter. You probably come from a couple parent home. So you didn't have to stop working. You didn't have to stop school at 15 years old because you got kicked out the house. You got two parents, maybe one parent, maybe two parents. It's almost irrelevant. And, but you can have one parent and still be middle class. But the majority of middle class people, a lot of middle class people do have both parents. Most rich people have both parents. So then you do what you're told because that's what you do. You have a disciplined dad, you have a nurturing mother, you do what you're told. So you go to school, you do what you're told. You graduate high school, you do what you're told. So you go to college, you do what you're told. You get a 4-year degree or some kind of education, 2 years, or you flunked out because it wasn't for you. But you have some level of education, higher level of education, or even went to a trade school or something like that. You got some higher level of education. Or you were smart enough to take your mindset and apply it to a skill to pay you a decent amount of livable wage, right? But the majority of middle class people have some form of higher education, okay? But you took on that college debt to acquire that. You don't necessarily have to go to college. It's almost irrelevant to this, but some people will go to college and some people don't, but you're still going to be in the middle class debate when I break that down. Okay. So now you have a decent job. Let's say you're bringing in, instead of an hourly wage, you're probably making salary or a good hourly wage instead of the poor class that's making 10, 12, 14, 15, $18 an hour. You're probably bringing in $30, $40 an hour because you can demand a higher skill set. You're probably more respectful. You can complete higher, more important tasks. And you went to college for the most part, or you went to trade school, or you went to nursing school or something like that. So now you're bringing in, 45, instead of you bringing in $20,000, $24,000 like the poor person, you're bringing in 45,000, 50,000, 55,000, 60,000. But you are surrounded by similar people, right? Poor people hang around poor people. Middle class people hang around middle class people. Rich people hang with rich people. Middle class people, you will start to judge and or compare yourselves to others. One thing about like poor people, they kind of don't do that, right? You got an old busted pickup truck and you drive an old hoopty, the other dude drive an old hoopty, and all y'all live in the same trailer park. They don't give a fuck, right? Are y'all all in Section 8? Like in the projects, people who live in the projects don't say, yo, man, your project housing is better than mine. Like, they don't do that. They don't. Why? All of that stuff is shit. But middle class people do, right? Your house is bigger. Your cars are nicer. Your boat is bigger. Your wife is prettier. Your jet skis are nicer. Your motorcycle is nicer. And you feel like you've done everything in life to demand that or want that, but you didn't really. So what do? You go out and you acquire those things. So now, you know, you go to school. You hanging around other middle class families, and their parents are telling them to go to school. So what do? You go to school. You go to college. You go to trade school, right? So now you 30, 40, $50,000 in debt. You might get a decent job. You might be making 40,000, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000, 80,000, hell, $90,000 a year, right? So if you fall into that 40 to 80, $90,000 bracket, I'm talking to you. So what do? You go to work. You're still paying on your student loan if you have any, but that's almost irrelevant. And you seeing that girl in the office, that homeboy in the office, your boss, and you compare yourself to him. If you ever said to yourself, man, I could do this job better than my boss, you're comparing yourself to him. Or man, you see somebody at your job that has a nice car and makes less than you because you're comparing, you for the fall right into this trap that they set up for you. So what do? You go out and you buy a nicer car because you want to be compared to others, because you think since you compare yourself to others that other people do it to you too. So now you go out and you go buy a nicer car. You can afford it because, on paper you make $60,000. You might got halfway decent credit because your parents didn't screw you over something with your credit. So now you go out and buy a car that you can't afford. Car payment $800. Oh man, I got an $80,000, $90,000 a year job. I need to get a house. That's the American dream. My neighbor got my coworker got a house. My boss got a house. Let me buy a house too. So you go spend $300,000, $400,000 on a house, right? Then your neighbors got a new boat or a jet ski or a motorcycle or some other shit. So what do? You go out there, you want some toys, you want to have fun, you go buy a $10,000 bike, but you ain't got $10,000. You just put it on credit. Wow, this credit thing is awesome. Put the bike on credit, you put the boat on credit, you put the jet ski on credit, you put the cars on credit, you put the fucking house on credit, right? But all that shit's irrelevant because you look like trash. You don't got the nicest threads, right? Kim Kardashian running around in Louis Vuitton. I want Louis Vuitton. Let me put it on this damn credit card. So now you go out and you put it all on this damn credit card, right? And now your whole check goes to debt. House, debt. Car, debt. Jet skis, debt. Boats, debt. Motorcycles, debt. Credit cards, clothes, clothes, shoes, shopping sprees, debt. And then what happens? Hey man, you got 2 weeks worth of vacation time. You got to take leave. You got to take vacation time. You got 2 weeks. Well, it's vacation time. Okay, well, if I'm gonna take vacation time, why sit at home when I got vacation time? Shit, I'm taking a vacation, but you can't afford it. So you put that on debt, you put that on credit too. So now your whole year revolves around you paying off credit cards, house payments, car payments, boat payments, jet ski payments, just so you can feel alive a little bit. And so you don't feel like you're not progressing in life because you compare yourself to other people. So that's why I feel the middle class is the worst class to be. Because poor people might not have any money. You're broke, meaning that you are negative. Your system and your mindset is broken. You are under the no money. A poor person might have $100 in their bank account, but they ain't got no debt. They ain't got no student loan debt. They ain't got no house debt. They ain't got no car debt. They ain't got no credit card debt. They don't qualify for a car. They don't qualify for a house. They don't qualify for credit cards. They got $200 in their account. They only got $200 fucking dollars. You got $1,000 in your account. Could you make a little more? You got $2,000 in your account, but in actuality, you're $400,000 in debt, and it's all bad debt. It doesn't make you any money. If you got fired, if that poor person at Walgreens cashier, if they get fired, they got $200 to live off of, and all they got to worry about is probably paying their insurance and paying their lot fee on their trailer that they probably bought for cash or was handed down to them. If you get fired or get a layoff, house, clothes, house, boat, motorcycle, car insurance, and whatever else you can got into, soccer camp, mini camp, and all this kind of crap, because you just want to be compared to other people. Now, which of a bigger hole can you get out of? Which bigger hole can you get out of? Not having a job and having $300 in your bank account, or not having a job and having $500,000 in debt? I'll wait. So in theory, I'd rather be poor than middle class. Poor people are better off than most people in middle class, but they don't see it like that. They think that they're doing good because they can get a $60,000 a year job and spend the majority of their income paying down debt that does not bring them income. So let's get into the big boys and big girl stuff, which is rich people. Rich people, we go into debt, but we go into debt to buy things that make us money. Okay? And the way I kind of did it is I lived poor to be rich. I skipped the middle class because I saw that it was junk. I didn't want to go out and spend all this money on a car payment. I didn't want to take the vacations. I didn't want the credit card debt. Someone said rich dad, poor dad. No. Rich dad, poor dad, a little bit, but not really, right? This is Richard. This is my own thought process. This is my own logic. So a lot of y'all are living poor. A lot of y'all are living in middle class, but that's the worst class to be in. Y'all need to transition from middle class to a poor person's mentality while trying to be rich. So rich people buy stuff that makes them money. So when you are working your middle class job, what are you doing with your money except paying down debt? First of all, you need to start cutting the fat. You need to start making get a side hustle or a side business, and then the money that you bring in, that earned wage, put it to the side so you can buy stuff that makes you money. Live below your means, buy stuff that makes money. And then when that money comes in, you buy more stuff that makes money. Because I'll meet people that say, yo, man, hey, thanks for the game. I just bought my first rental property. I said, oh, cool. How much money you making a month? After everything's paid, about $700. Oh, man, hell yeah, cool. And then I see them on a story on Instagram 2 months later, getting a new necklace or getting a new car. I said, bro, you got $700 extra a month and you took it to buy a car. So you're just a worse middle class now. It's not making sense. It's not making sense, man. So you take that money that's coming in, the $700, you set it aside. And then once that accumulates a decent amount of money, then you go buy another asset, and then another, and then another, then another, then another, right? And then once you have so many assets, you bringing in, I don't know, shit, 50K, 60K, 100K, 200K a month, because it'll happen. It's just like steps. Every step you take, you're gonna be making more money. Just keep doing it. If you figured out how to do it once, you can do it twice. If you do it twice, you can do it 4 times. 4 times 8, 16, 32. Now you got 100 damn houses and 15 damn businesses, you know? And then you'll step back and you say, okay, now I need to start putting my money in stuff to where I don't have to work, my kids won't have to work, my kids don't have to work, and all they got to do is maintain a system that I developed. And rich and wealthy people have a system that they've mastered that pays them their family every year, every month, every quarter that they don't have to do shit for. Right? You ever heard of like trust fund babies? I've known or came across people who was trust funds, like their kids, their grandparents invented some fucking, toilet paper holder or something like that. Took the royalties from that and put it into a trust. The trust makes interest. The trust buys everybody in the family life insurance policies. And when a person dies, the life insurance money goes into the trust. The interest that's drawn from the trust, half of it goes back into the trust, and the other half of the interest goes as a disbursement check to the family. Meaning they developed a system. I just broke down what a damn trust baby is right there, and damn in a nutshell. They've developed a system with their riches that makes their family wealthy forever. Right? And no matter how poor minded these people are, no matter how middle class minded people they are, hell, no matter how rich minded their family is. Say if that person, like say if there's 3 siblings and they get $500,000 a piece a year. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go out there and buy a house on credit. I'm gonna buy cars on credit. I'm gonna get credit cards, and I'm gonna get all this shit. That's the middle class person. Oh, I'm gonna take that $500,000 and I'm gonna buy my own business. I'm gonna start buying real estate and stuff like that. That's a rich person. I'm gonna take that $500,000 and I'm gonna just buy, get a bullcrap job and live in this trailer home and drink all day and smoke all day and shoot guns all day and go hunt. That's a poor person's mentality. But if you set the trust and the wealth funnel right, you don't give a shit what path they choose because it'll always make them money and you money for the rest of the history of man. As long as they don't do nothing stupid like, you know what, I can take the principal and flip it on some crypto. You're an idiot. No, this system has been going for 60 years. You're not going to figure it out. Right? I've already set it up. You're not that guy. I'm that guy. That's why I did it. But I want you to really think to yourself, right? And I'm going to kind of give you a summary real quick. And I want you to ask yourself this, because I know people just joining, I just know people just coming in. I want you to ask yourself this. Am I a poor person with a middle class person mentality? Or am I a poor person with a poor person's mentality? Or am I a middle class person with a poor person's mentality? Or what class are you? Because where you are, you can physically see it. But what mentality should you be and how do you get there? Okay? And I'm going to break them down again. A poor person, someone who probably has a high school education, not that educated, probably quit high school. It's hard for them to stay focused or do anything. Probably came from a broken home, probably got kicked out their home when they was a kid. So they had to go to work at a young age, couldn't finish high school, probably got pregnant, probably got into some drugs, but clean now, whatever. They had to get a regular job, some hourly lower end wage, $10, $12, $15, stocker at a grocery store or fast food or a cashier at the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Rite Aid or Walgreens or something like that. You're probably making 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-ish, maybe dollars an hour. You probably make, I don't know, $500 a week, damn near pre-tax, which is $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year, which is below the poverty level. You probably need government assistance, and you don't have a lot of debt. You probably have a paid off car. You can't get a car loan because your credit shit. You don't make enough, so you don't qualify. You can't buy a house because you don't make enough because you don't qualify. You probably on WIC, you probably on food stamps, you probably on government assistance. You're probably on Section 8, but you making do. You happy, but you feel like you could be doing more with your life. You wish you could did better in high school, but for unforeseen circumstances, you couldn't. You know, if that's you, I'm sorry that you're in the situation you're in, but kind of get this shit in order. Middle class people, you probably grew up in a one family household or even a two family household. Statistically, you did go in a two family household. You graduated high school, then you probably got some higher level of education, either a bachelor's, or associates, or trade school, or tech school, or something like that. You probably joined the military or something like that too. Middle class people generally, sometimes they join the military. Most time it's middle class, not poor class. So then you join the military or something like that. You probably did your time in the service, you did your years in college, and then now you went out and got a job making 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, maybe $100,000 a year. You take that money and then you compare yourself to everybody in the world instead of realizing that true happiness comes within, but you're comparing yourself to everybody anyway. So when people compare themselves to everybody else, what do? They try to outdo them or either try to be like them. So, people say go buy a house, you go buy a house. Probably can't afford it, but you get it anyways because you can qualify for it because you got decent income, right? So you want the latest and best car. So you get a 2030, whatever the hell is out nowadays, BMW, because that's what's cool people got, right? Your coworkers got a decent car. Everybody else got a decent car at your job. So you compare yourself to them. So you do that. You want to be clean because you can dress business casual. So, you can easily go to Walmart or Target and get some regular casual clothes, but you want the Louis and the Gucci, the Fendi and all that kind of shit to try to press other people that don't give a damn about you. So you can't afford it. So you put it on the credit card. And then your buddy talking about he went boating this weekend. You want a boat, so you buy a boat. You want a motorcycle because your cousin got one, so you buy a motorcycle. You see your neighbor next door he's washing his jet ski, so you want to have a jet ski. So so now you go and get all this damn debt: cars debt, motorcycle debt, house debt, cars debt, credit card debt, and then heaven forbid you get 2 weeks vacation every year. You don't want to sit around all day, so you take a vacation. You can't afford that either, so you put that in debt. So now you're $400,000-$500,000 in debt if you stop working. You're gonna be under the damn debt system, but that's the life you live. But you think that you're doing great in life, but you almost terrified to lose your job because you have no savings because you live check to check, even though you do make $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year. Someone said they disagree with me. Oh, someone said who disrespected me? Who's he talking to? Talking to you. And then rich people take their money when they start making money. If you're middle class, you just take your money. You live like a poor person. You don't get into credit card debt. You don't get into car debt. You don't get into house debt. If you want to rent, you rent. If you want to buy a house because you just need a place to live, that's fine too. But you live below your means. You don't eat out. You don't buy shit. You don't have Netflix. You don't take vacations. You take that money that you're making, you get a side hustle, you save it up, and then you put it to work. And then once you buy something that makes you more money, buy a business, buy storage units, ATMs, Airbnb, Turo, all that kind of crap, right? So you do all that crap and then you start making extra money. Don't take the extra money and do dumb stuff with it, like buy Hellcats and grills. I seen a grown ass man the other day talking about, I got my next check I get, I'm gonna go get a grill. You know how stupid you sound? You're saving up money. You're saving money to put metal and gold in your mouth. You know how stupid you sound? But hey, whatever. To each their own. So you take that money and then you start making more money, right? So now you buy your first rental property, you buy your first asset that produces you income, and then you don't eat the income. You invest it to buy more things that produce you income. And then whenever you start making some serious traction, because it's going to take a while, right? It doesn't happen overnight and it's not going to happen quick. 5, 10 years later down the road, maybe even 15 years down the road, or whatever the hell you get going, when you start making 80, 90,000, 100,000, 200,000, $500,000 a month, not a year, a month, then you can go buy the cars. Then you can go buy the house. then you can go buy the jewelry. Then you can go buy the stupid ass vacations or whatever you want. And a lot of people say, no one ain't got time for that. I ain't trying to wait till I'm old to do all that. Do I look old? How old you gotta be? I started at 28 and I'm in my 40s now. And I don't work for nobody. I don't answer to nobody. And I sit around and collect checks all day. But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. And then if you want to be wealthy, what I do is I take majority of all the money I make and I put it into a trust that pays dividends and interest every year. Now I just take the interest and reinvest it. So let's say if in this trust, let's say if I got $1 million in there now, the trust at 14% interest will make me $140,000 a year. So next year it'll be $1,140,000, and then it'll be $150,000 in interest. So the year there it'll be $1,300,000. Then it'll be $1,400,000. Then $1,600,000. And then by the time I'm like 60 years old or something, then it'll be $10 million. You know, $10 million at 10% rate of return is $1 million a year. And my kids, I'll split $1 million amongst them for the rest of their lives. And then when they're gone, their kids can have it. As long as they don't spend the $10 million, they can do whatever the fuck they want. And that's how poor people, middle class people, wealthy people, and rich people live their lives. Now, which one you want to be? And which one are you now? As simple as it gets, people. It's not rocket science. Someone said, who taught me that? This handsome young black man that I see on YouTube all the time. His name is Mr. Richard. That's who taught me that. It's called education and learning from other people's mistakes. It's called being working in the military for 20 years. And when you pull up in a $3,000 shit box or a $2,000, my car I drove from year 3 to about year 9 in the military was a 1989 Nissan 4x2 hardbody pickup truck with a bench seat, 5-speed. It shaked at 45 miles per hour. Every time I sped off, it would burn out because the back tire had a flat. It had no traction. It was 3 different colors. It was actually like dark brown or whatever color this is, but it faded to purple and then it faded to like gray. Okay. I would do a real estate deal that would net me $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. And the people at the bank would make fun of me. Man, I see this check you got. I see your deposits. When you gonna get a new car? Motherfucker, I ain't trying to be working at no bank when I'm 40 years old. When you gonna get my co-workers? I see your bank accounts because I was logging in one day at work. I see how much money you got. Why don't you buy a car? Well, I don't want to be like you, old as hell, still working. Mind your business. Friends and family, I know you're doing good. I see the deals. Well, I don't want to be explaining to y'all while I'm going to work 10, 15 years from now when I can just say, yeah, remember when I was driving that old piece of shit? That's why. That's why I did it. Because money you spend on your cars, your jewelry, your credit card, your Netflix, your eating out, your vacation, I was spending buying assets and investing. Now, I sit online and talk to people all day. Not really all day, but whenever I'm bored. And then I try to educate people and tell them to get their shit together. But it is what it is, people. It is what it is. Someone probably still got it. I would have kept the truck if it had a camber problem. So it got someone lowered it and to fix the camber problem. So a camber problem is when your tires bow in and it rubbed the inside and made the tires ball. But it had like lowering blocks on it, and I didn't want to take it. The lowering blocks got rusted on, so I didn't want to take it apart to fix the lowering blocks. But one side of me really wish I'd have kept that truck. I really wish I'd have kept that truck. But that's a whole nother story. But I hope you finding value in this stuff. I hope that you was educated and learned. Um, yeah, and then I had to put a refrigerator in the back because I flipped the property and the refrigerator was making the damn thing drag. That was a whole nother story though. Yeah, but I'm not getting off here. I'm just giving y'all some quick guidance and then we'll get to it. So if you could I appreciate y'all being here. If you're not following, please make sure you follow. It's a decent amount of people here. I got over 150 people in here. Wow, that's pretty impressive. You know, so it is what it is. So yeah, I guess because I broke down lower class, middle class, poor class. You know, hope y'all find value in that stuff. But if you're not following, please make sure you follow. Hope you find value in that stuff. If you ain't signed up for the free class, I got a free class coming up. Click the link in the BOWBOBIO. I can't say that B word. They don't like that. So yeah, go up there, sign up. I don't sell you information. I just send you a link and say, come to the class. If you want to come, you come. If you don't, it's all good. But someone said I need to talk to you about selling your insurance business. Yeah, click the link in the bio, sign up. I'll break it down for you. I can tell you what your business is worth. I can tell you what you can sell it for. I can tell you if it's absentee, how many hours the owner works. I can tell you um, based on sales, gross sales, net sales. Do you own real estate with it? What's your P&L, profit and loss? What's your year to date? Tax returns. You can do a 3-year average. Or you can do a net average of the last year with a projected year to date estimation. You can get your business pre-approved through the SBA. Sound like you got your shit together, so it'll probably be a SBA 7A. You can get pre-approved that way. Yeah, it's multiple ways you can do it. But yeah, I want to go and hang out with the family a little bit. How did you leave friends with poor mentality? You know what? I'll answer this question. I think I'll be done. Uh, yeah, I don't hang with them. And this is a little more personal, and this is a journey that you're gonna have to take if you want it. It's lonely at the top, man, because when you want to stay at home and renovate a property to make money, or you want to read a book about mindset, or you want to be conservative and not eat out, and your friends are saying, I want to eat out. Let's go to the club. Let's go take a vacay. Let's go shopping. Let's go. Like, dude, bro, once you keep telling people, no, man, I'm good. I don't want to do that. We can hang out here. We can watch some TV. We can probably drink some beers and hang out or something like that. But as far as me spending, I have a budget of like $50 a week. If I spend any of that on some dumb shit, I go out to the club, I'm at $200. So I spend my whole month's budget on one night at the club. You know, if you, especially if you in grind time, right? If you on grind time, you got to cut the fat, right? And you just got to tell your friends, yo, man, I'm good. And then after a while, once they see that that's the type of person you are, they'll stop asking you, and they'll probably distance yourself from you too, and it's gonna get lonely. You know, it's almost like this. If it's almost like they should respect you enough to not even ask you that stuff. So let's say, for example, if you was struggling with your weight, or you were struggling with drinking, right? Would true friends really say to you, "Oh man, it's just one drink"? Or the true friend say to you, oh man, it's just one piece of cake. You know, true friends will see the change that you're going through, and they'll see what you're trying to accomplish. And if they're your true friends, they'll be there for you, right? And it's kind of crazy though. What's really crazy is a true friend will not only encourage you, they'll support you. You know, like some of my good friends back home, they'll like, hey man, I got a referral for you. I got a guy for you. He said he needs some business funding. Oh wow, cool. Oh man, I got a guy for you. He needs business credit, or he needs personal credit work, or he's in the process of buying an insurance company or buying a telecommunication business, but he don't know where to start. He don't know if this is right. Cool. I do that type of stuff. If they're truly supportive, they'll know, right? Or I'm thinking about selling a property. I'm thinking about getting into real estate. I'm thinking about doing this. Okay, cool. Let's do it. True friends to do that, not be like, yeah, man, that's all you do, man. You've changed. Like, man, piss off, man. Grow up, right? And if you can't support my dreams, I'm good, right? Call me during the holidays, or send me a text on my birthday, and I'm good. I don't need that shit. I don't have time for dumb shit, man. But that's just me. Appreciate the gems. What is the worst advice you see commonly given? Debt is bad. Debt is bad. And another one that I get a lot, especially a comment. This is a good question, y'all. That's a really good question. A comment that I get a lot is, why would I want to be owed with money? Or if I say, yo, man, you're 25 years old, why don't you put that, instead of buying a Hellcat, just put that money in the compound interest account, and in 20 years from now, when you're 45, you'll be sitting on $2 million. And then people will say shit like, well, I don't want a Hellcat when I'm 45. I want it now. And I say, okay, well, you can have $2 million, or you can have a Hellcat. Like, which one you want? Because damn near can't have both unless you make a shit ton of money. And people will be like, man, I want to live my life. And they think that a car is living life, a vacation is living life, credit card debt is living. That's living life to you. You was the king of the block. Think about, I don't know who's in his comments over 40. Think about what you bought at 20 years old that brought you the most enjoyment of your life. The most. 20 to 25 years old, and you're over 40. What brought you so much enjoyment you could almost sleep next to it? I mean, that's all you thought about. It was the top of the world, right? Now take that enjoyment, take that excitement, and give you $2 million now. You want that $2 million now? You want to relive? You know what? Look at it. Look at this, kids. Look at it. I was 22 years old. I was the man. I had all the girls. Look at this. You see how cool that was? Dude, you know how stupid you sound? And then they'd be like, oh, that's a cool story, Dad. Can I get some money for for my school picnic? Hey, man, I ain't got it. But I was cool as fuck. Look at this Hellcat. You know how stupid you sound? Now, my daughter says to me, hey, can you take me to school? Cool. Let's go to school. How your day was? Good. Cool. Can I stay over at my friend's house? We're going to go to the library. Okay, cool. Just call me when you're ready. I'll pick you up. Because I'm not limited to a job. But the king of the block is at work right now. When I was 23, 24, 25, saving money, the people that told me, why don't you buy a new car, are at work. And I'm doing me now. And it's kind of funny that they say, I don't want to be owed with money. Motherfucker, I'm owed? What do you mean old? Yeah, if you got all this money, you old, you can't even get around. Mother trucker, I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I'm planning 3 overseas trips this year. 3. And you taking a cruise to the Bahamas and thinking that's the grand pooper. I'm trying to go to Africa. I'm trying to walk the Great Wall. That's a vacation, not a cruise ship with a whole bunch of ghetto people in a little ass room doing the cha-cha slide on the deck. That's not a vacation, people. A Hellcat is not even a cool car. A Hellcat, when it pulls up to a Lambo, it's not even comparable, right? Oh, that Hellcat, that Hellcat of smoke, the Hellcat of smoke that Lambo. Would you want the Hellcat money or would you want the Lambo money? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna park that fucking car. You spend 4% of your life in your car. I think it's 2%. It's either 4% or 2%. I'll average it. You spend 3% of your life in the car. That guy pulling up that Lambo, you spend 41% of your life in your house. The guy with the Hellcat's going home to an apartment. The guy with the Lambo's probably going home to a nice house that's his. In a better school district, so his kids are getting a better education. The guy with the Hellcat's probably living in an apartment. I don't make the statistics, man. I'm just telling you what they are. You can listen to them. You tell me I'm an idiot, but hey, I'll be an idiot all day. I'm sleeping in tomorrow. I'm going to the gym. I'm coming home. Actually, I want some ribs and fried chicken, and barbecue chicken. So probably go out to Sonny's restaurant for lunch. Then I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna get my passport renewed, and I have to sign up for a class, and I gotta set up an event for a speaking event I have 3 weeks from now. While you at work in your Hellcat, you have fun with that. But people don't want to hear that type of stuff. One more question and I'm done. Let me see. Great Wednesday webinar. I went to it before. It was really good. I'm ready to get started. Hey, that's what we talk about. That's what we do, right? If you're interested, come through, right? Someone said in the lab. I don't even know what that is. I'll look it up though. Is that your username or something? I don't even know what that is. But yeah, the worst advice that I hear people saying is that you should live your life. Like, spending all your money on stupid shit is not living. That is irresponsible. And then they say most black people don't live that long. Let's just say you do live that long. Like there's 2 ways that this happens. You die at 50, you don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna be in heaven talking about, man, I wish I'd have got that fucking Scat Pack. Man, I wish I'd have got that Scat Pack. Or let's say you do live to be 50, and now you have $2, $3, $4 million in the bank. 2 things are gonna happen. Either you're gonna die young, and the Scat Pack and the millions of dollars are irrelevant, or you're gonna live and regret buying that fucking car and wish you had the money and go to work, or took the guidance that I gave you, sitting on money, and now you can quit your fucking job. You know? And then this is the last one, and then I'll say this and I think I'm done. When people say, I don't want to be old, people in the comments will always say stuff like, I don't want to be old with a whole bunch of money. I want to have a life now. Which is kind of the stupidest shit ever, because if you look at like the statistics of like nursing home workers, nurses, doctors. When people are surrounded by their loved ones before they pass away, they aren't talking about a fucking physical item. All of that shit's irrelevant. I want to see my wife. I want to see my husband. I want to see my kids. I want to see my pets. I want to be surrounded by people I love. Heaven forbid, I'm 65 years old, 70 years old, and I'm laying on my deathbed, and I'm surrounded by loved ones. And right before I go, I say, you know what would have been cool? When I was 25 years old, I bought that fucking Scat Pack. That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. I bought a Hellcat when I was 25. Y'all know that, right? Dad, we get it. You was cool 40 years ago. No one gives a fuck how cool you was. Right? You're about to fucking die. Just sit here and enjoy the moment. Because heaven forbid, me buying a Hellcat is living life. That's one thing that I always see in the comments. Someone always is defending life as not spending your money on stupid shit. Somehow demoralizes or makes your life less likable. I mean, you don't need a $78,000 car to be happy. You don't need a $1 million house to be happy. Happiness is within. It doesn't come from things. And once you're truly happy with yourself and stop trying to live your life to impress other people, you in theory be rich forever. Now all you got to do is match your monetary value to your mental value. Holy fuck. Woo! Woo! God dang, I'll put that on a t-shirt. All right, y'all. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. Thank y'all for hanging out. I'm about to go in here and hang out with the family. Later, dudes.